What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a short video and it is going to be a PS5 memory upgrade. So if you were lucky enough to get yourself a PS5 and you're like me and you're a game collector, you're going to realize that the 825 gigabytes onboard SSD memory on the PS5 is a little anemic. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to upgrade that M.2 PCIe NVMe memory for the PS5. For today's video, what I'm going to use is an XPG Gimmicks S70 blade. This is one of the cheapest options I was able to find out of Canada for a PS5 SSD memory upgrade. It meets all the requirements from PlayStation. So PlayStation is asking a minimum of 5,500 megabytes per second. And from what I've seen on different forums and videos, this one does about 6,500 to 6,700 megabytes per second, which is perfect for the specifications that PlayStation is asking for. So without further ado, let's get into the installation. So obviously the first thing you're going to do if you have this PlayStation 5 installed vertically is remove the bottom bracket. So all you got to really do is turn it on its side, and there is a screw that just needs to be removed. So once you remove that screw, the bracket comes off. What you want to later do is put the PlayStation flat on a surface. Now you guys are going to notice that I have the disc version. And the disc version is actually showing on the top. Why? Because the M.2 memory slot is facing on this side. So from the videos that I've seen, what they actually do is just lift. It looks like you just got to lift and push to the side. And there you go. The panel has just come off. So now we have access to this entire side of the PlayStation 5, right? So we have access to this entire side. And honestly, I would take this opportunity, guys, as well to clean your PS5. If you're removing the side panels, you might as well clean as well, remove all the dust. Apparently there's little dust catchers as well here and here. Maybe you can vacuum out that extra dust. So I might as well do the maintenance as well. Okay guys, so the next step, once you have that top panel removed, again, you guys can see that this is where the disk drive is located. This is where your M.2 SSD slot is. So what you're gonna do is just take a screwdriver, and first of all, what you're gonna do is remove this screw. Nice and easy. You want to make sure that you don't strip it. So that's the screw, and this front panel is going to just come right off. Now you're going to notice that there are different slots, right, with different numbers. So 30, 42, 60, and 80. That really has to do with depending on the type of card that you use. So for example, mine is an M.2 2280 PCIe Gen 4 SSD. So the 2280 should come up to about this point right here, and that's where it should end. I'm gonna put the PS5 on the side, and I'm gonna show you guys now the SSD that I am currently using. Okay guys, for the next part of the video, I'm gonna show you the SSD portion. So like I said, I have a Gimmicks S70 blade, and I'll just pull this one out. And you guys can see that this XPG also comes with a miniature heatsink. It's nothing too big, but at least it's nice that they did include something. And then of course you have your SSD memory card, right? Which is really nice. And now what I ended up getting myself is a heatsink. So it does come with a heatsink. I just found it to be a little bit thin. So I ended up getting myself an extra heatsink that I'll show you guys how to install on this. All right, so let's continue the video. Again, these are all the different types of components. Your heatsink, your two thermal pads, your base, and this is the SSD. The first thing that it asks is just to use like a little bit of a wet rag. Not much, just to remove any excess dust that there can be on either sides. That's pretty good. And if I turn around on the other side, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I mean, there's not much dust. I just took this out of the packaging, but very lightly remove any type of excess dust. Cool. So this is done. Then they're asking you to use the dry wipe. So let's do that, just to dry any excess. And you know, the reason they want you to do this is just to make sure that you have maximum contact between your SSD and your thermal pads. All right, so that's pretty good. So the SSD is going to sit this way because it's going to slot exactly this way into the PS5, which means I got to start with the bottom thermal pad. So I'm going to turn this. Actually, maybe the easiest thing to do, I just realized, is put the thermal pad first into the base. There you go. Of your casing. There you go. And then place your SSD directly. So once your SSD is placed, next step is to apply the other thermal pad. So what you want to do is just lay it right on top, try to align it. Cool, so that's maximum contact. And then at the end, you want to come and place your heatsink. It's going to just slide right in. And there you go. You got yourself a really, really nice sandwich. Now there's these little screws that came with it as well. So what you want to do now is place these little screws. All right, next. Nice and tight. There you go. And then the last one. Okay guys, so we finally reached the part where we are going to install now the M.2 with the heatsink installed, right? The sandwich is completed. And we're now going to install this and slot it into the PS5. So you guys are going to notice as well that PlayStation gave you this little screw here. So what you want to do is actually remove it, because that's what you're going to use after to tighten your SSD in place. So let's remove that. Ours is an 80 model, so I can actually put that little nut in right away. And let's install the SSD. So I'm going to align it to make sure that it's properly aligned. Seems about right. And then you just, I guess you just push it in. There you go, until you hear a click. So that's in. And then to just finalize the installation, you want to install that screw back in. So one thing that I noticed is that, wow, everything is like perfectly tight fit. And there you go. The fit and finish is really, really tight. It definitely would have been a lot easier for me if I did not install this heatsink on it, but I mean, the PlayStation does recommend for you guys to do it, and honestly, it looks pretty good. And you know, I know that I can install this, and that I'm sure I won't have any issues whatsoever when it comes to the SSD overheating. So then the last part, as you guys know, is to just reinstall the faceplate. put the plate back on. And let's insert the screw in place. All right. Then I have a little smaller screwdriver just to finish. You don't want to over torque, guys, but just to make sure that it's a nice and snug. And that's it. That's the SSD installation. Now what you want to do is obviously put your plate back on, right? So this guy, it looks like it needs to slide inwards. All right, so that's it. Once you slide your top cover back in, again, like I mentioned to you guys, it'd probably be worthwhile to take a look at the other side. And also where the PlayStation side is, also remove any type of dust, just to have some preventive maintenance. All right, so that's it. So let's remove the other panel. The PlayStation logo is there. What you want to do is lift and slide down. So you want to lift this and slide down. The panel comes right off. And again, take advantage to remove any type of dust, obviously around the fan area. And these are the two dust catchers. And along the fins as well. Take advantage now to remove any type of dust accumulation. All right, guys, and now the last step is to re-put back the panel. So I realize you want to put it in place and then give it a little, and that's it. It clips right back into place. And now the PlayStation is ready to go get installed. And you got to do, when you're going to reinstall the PlayStation, it's going to ask you to format the SSD. So I'll show you guys a later video on that. So, all right, guys, so in the last step, I just replugged back my PS5 and it's asking to pretty much format your M.2 SSD. So I'm gonna go to format, let it run a format. Let's see what happens. Awesome. And you guys can see the read speed that got selected for mine. You guys can see the read speed is 6,304 megabytes per second, which is fantastic. So now it says your M.2 has been formatted to change where games are installed settings. You can do all that good stuff. So that's pretty much it, guys. It's rebuilding the database and off we go. An M.2 has been installed. That was a 1 terabyte SSD that I installed. And that's pretty much it, guys. So like, subscribe, leave some comments, share this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. As always, have yourself a great day, have yourself a great night, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.